Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? Bienvenidos al episodio 69 de PIN Podcast. Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to a new episode of PIN Podcast, this episode 69. Hoy, como estáis ya pudiendo observar, este episodio lo vamos a grabar en inglés. This episode we will film in English. First one, es la primera vez que grabamos un episodio en inglés, entonces, bueno, tener paciencia conmigo. No soy un profesional del inglés, pero bueno, hoy me van a ayudar aquí dos compañeros que tenemos. Así que a partir de ahora, de este último relato mío que voy a hacer en español, vamos a empezar con el episodio en inglés, que hoy tenemos un super episodio adelante. So, until now, we will start the podcast in English. I will try to do my best, but it's not my best quality, my best thing in the world to speak English. But okay, I think the two guys who are here with me will help me for sure to make it easier. So, today the episode will be a presentation. Let's say maybe it can be a good start, a presentation of the project. Which project we have here? We have Among Legends, and Among Legends have so many things to explain, and my two partners here are ready to speak with you. So I will start with the table tennis player, and after we will go with the other super guest we have here. So for the people who don't know this guy, I don't think most of the people don't know you because you are, I think, really famous in table tennis world. Having who? How are you? All good?
Hey guys, yes, I'm all very good. Really keen to talk about everything in this episode, and yeah, cannot complain. Happy to be here. Thank you, Rafa.
Good, good, good. Well, I said on the previous episode that we will have a foreign guest that will be top of 100 in the world. I mean, it was it was 100 in the world before, so it was true, no? I mean, I don't want to say anything wrong. You were top 100 in the world.
Yeah, I was 61 in the highest world ranking I had. I always felt when they changed the world ranking system from, to being every continent has points for continental tournaments. I felt like I did definitely benefit from it, and yeah, definitely I feel fortunate to be ranked 61. Although I felt like, if I'm honest and objective, the best level I reached was probably around 2 to 300 when I had my best level, best playing results. But yeah, either way, like looking back at it now, very happy to, I guess, have achieved and attained that level in the sport.
So yeah, then I was completely right. And also, what you mean about the ranking, I spoke also with some Australian guys because I have a good relationship with some of them, and probably they told me like exactly what you said. Like maybe the conditions of the ranking are maybe a little bit helpful for the Australian people or Oceania people in general. So okay, just it was a good way to share all the opinions of the same guys in the same country. I think it's no more presentation for you at the moment. We will speak after more about you and what you are doing here. But let's go with Louis. Louis, how are you? All good?
Yes, very good, thank you. Buenas noches, everybody.
Okay, this is good night. This is good night. But okay, anyway, because this podcast they will listen at any hour, so it's good. Good night, good day. So we can do it
Rafa,
at all time.
I'm trying to show them that your English is much better than my Spanish. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm good, thank you very much.
So for the people who don't know you, I think it's more people who don't know you that in the case of Hemming, what do you do normally? What's your job?
Yes, I don't think anybody would know me. So it's important to introduce myself. I don't play table tennis at all. In fact, I tried once with Hemming and I completely failed. And I have not tried again. So I'm not a very good table tennis player. But I've known Hemming for a while now, for many years. And Hemming, on his business journey, decided to have a chat with me because my background is entrepreneurship. My background is business coaching and strategy and investing. So business is more of my world. And I think since Hemming retired, he's really had some dreams and goals of making table tennis, evolving table tennis and uplifting the sport through business. And that's when Hemming got me to jump on board. And yeah, here now I'm trying to understand table tennis. I'm trying to understand everybody. And so far, the community has been very supportive, very friendly, and very welcoming. So I'm very glad to be a part of the community.
I'm thinking that you probably choose one of the hardest sports to understand because all the people who are here, mostly of the opinions I receive is that we are all crazy. So it's difficult to understand when the people is crazy. So it's a hard job, I think, for you. But okay, let's say you are if this is a trip, you are the car, and Hemming is going into your car to go to the final objective, to the final goal. So it's cool. I mean, I like to see that, and I think this project we are going to speak right now, it's very good. I mean, I feel that has a very good start, and it will be maybe a good. I don't know, a good thing to look at the end of the year that it's going to be. So let's maybe start for the beginning. We will speak about first the story behind Among Legends and how it started. So one of you guys, I don't have any preference. Who do you want? You can start with the speech.
Hemming, do you want to start? Take it away.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
since I approached Louis as my business coach, it's always been how can I make the sport into like we who play table tennis realize it's very physical. Injuries happen because once you get to a certain level, you realize, oh my god, table tennis is a very physical sport. It's very tactical. There's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of crazy details that go into it, all whilst having to move a lot in a short amount of space. So given that, how can we make it a sport where it's seen as the same as tennis, golf, Formula One, these sort of big profile sports? How can table tennis start to be seen the same way with the same amount of, like that sort of premium sport? So, I mean, we first ran a Hemming Who Cup, a table tennis tournament, and we were kind of testing how things were going, and it sold out very quickly. So since then, Louis then asked me, do you want to try and give this, this project a big, I mean, the name that we had for the project was not Among Legends at the time. It was a very different name, but he said, do you want to give this a try? And I thought about it for maybe 2-3 seconds. And I said, hell yeah, let's definitely give this a try. If we can do this, and if it works, then it's definitely gonna boost the profile of the sport massively, probably bigger than anything else that we could think of doing. So that's really how Among Legends started. And as well, there's one student I coach, and at the moment he's the only student I coach. So he flies to me, 4 or 5 times a year to get coaching from me in Australia. And we said to him, hey, we are thinking of doing this, with Legends of the Sport, having this sort of experience where it's a 5-day, 5-night thing. And before I finished my sentence, he said, yeah, I would try this. I would give it a shot. Why not? It sounds interesting. So that kind of gave us the green light to continue doing this event.
Louis, how was your first thinking when, I mean, he explained a little bit about that, but how was your first thinking when you received this proposal, this idea? Maybe crazy, maybe you feel like very positive?
Great question. I did not feel it was crazy because it was my idea. I proposed it
Okay.
to Hemming, so I think he
Okay.
thought I
Okay. Yeah.
was crazy. He probably thought I was crazy when I said it. The original concept was very different to what it is now. I remember us having a conversation about this very crazy idea, similar to what we have now, but still very different in many ways. And the idea, I think, as an entrepreneur, it's always important to challenge the status quo and what is the reality. I think that's how any sport would grow. That's how any sport would innovate. And I think one challenge for me when I first started working with Hemming was I felt that he was very, very good at table tennis. I watched him play. He
No,
was a
I
two-time
don't think so.
Olympian. No,
I don't
he's
think
not that
so.
good.
No, no, I don't. I remember he was in Spain, and I don't remember so good when he come to Spain. I told you guys before we started this. He came one time, and I remember him in the National Center. And when I saw him, I was thinking, man, this guy plays good, huh? And I don't have this level, huh? And it's difficult to reach it, huh? It's not easy.
Yeah, and that's from you being a professional. For me, everyone looks good, but I just thought, wow, Hemming looks like really like he can really play. And then the challenge was, how come somebody like Hemming is struggling in business? Because if he was in any other sport, if he was a tennis player or if he was a football player and he was at the same level as he was in table tennis, there'll be a lot more opportunities. But in
Yeah,
table tennis, the opportunities don't seem to exist as much. And I don't think it's because of the sport. I don't think it's because of the athletes. I also don't think it's because of the fans. I think perhaps there's just no infrastructure and nothing has been done to create a more commercially relevant and entertaining environment. And I know a lot of people are trying and they're doing a good job. So we wanted to play our part and say, what can we do to contribute to the great work that all these leagues are doing, that all these great streamings of the sports, they're doing a fantastic job. What can we do that's different to add on to the job that they're doing, to perhaps make it easier for future athletes, make it easier for the next generation like yourself, coming up when you become the peak of your career. I would want many sponsors to be going after you and trying to do things with you, perhaps with this podcast. That's our goal. That's our dream.
it's good. It's good. I like how you is your view about this project, and I like in general what are you guys telling. I was looking here because I have some pictures you told me I can put on the episode, and probably our editor will be posting now, just to show a little bit how can be the idea. It's not obviously the final version, but how can be the idea of doing this project of Among Legends. The first picture I have is the table with this golden lines, and also this structure. Because one of the things I have seen from the project is that it looks like a luxury project. I mean, it, luxury is not about expensive, cheap, but looks is different. I think it's about everything you put there. It looks like it gives you cachet. It gives you like some status. So is what I feel from my first view as a normal spectator. So I would like that you explain a little bit more about Among Legends on this view. I mean, looking at the pictures you also have, explain how is the project visually. Let's say visually, how is the project?
Maybe I'll start here, Hemming. You can chime in and on what I've missed. You're absolutely right. It is a luxury project. It is, in fact, we call ourselves the world's first ultra luxury. So not just normal, like ultra luxury table tennis experience. And that's intentional. That was intentional because I think as part of hitting our goal of making table tennis more relevant and bigger as a sport, we need more money. A lot of conversations we've had with federations and players and everything, it's like nobody's putting money in table tennis compared to other sports. So we thought, okay, what's the best way to put more money into the sport? Let's create a very expensive product and see if anyone buys it. That was the crazy idea. And
Yeah.
so we came together, we sat down, Hemming and I, and we decided to let's create what would be the most expensive, most luxurious, most entertaining table tennis experience for somebody. And we came up with Among Legends. So what it is, to explain the concept, is we're getting some legends of the game, up to 5 legends of the game, to come together with 25 enthusiasts from around the world. They can be from anywhere. They can be from Spain, United States, Australia, anywhere. But instead of normally just watching the legends play, we are going to have these 25 people play together with the legends, side by side. Each legend is going to have their own team, and they're going to compete with each other in a tournament. And we're not going to use a normal sports hall. We're going to build our own from the ground up, which is the picture that you're probably seeing now. Some AI generated concepts of what we want to build, but we want to create a very luxurious, never before seen experience for our guys, where they get to spend time with legends, hang out with legends, wake up in the morning, they have breakfast, then they go to the hall together, they train, then they compete, then they have dinner, then they have whiskey, then they go sleep, and tomorrow the same again. We want to create that whole immersive experience with some of the legends, and we felt that this would be something that would justify a expensive price tag, and it's something that the sport has never seen before. So it's definitely a luxury product.
Which can be for
Anything
everyone.
you can add?
Sorry to reiterate, this can be for any level as well. So this is not. I mean, this was created for enthusiasts. So they can be a pretty good player themselves. They can be someone who isn't very good, but they just have to love the game. They just have to love table tennis.
So let's think imaginary situations, and let's say that one, two, three of the 25 guys that goes to the event say, for example, okay, Hemming, I want to play one day golf. Let's say I want to play golf. I want to go with one of the legends to play basketball, let's say, or to play bowling. I want to go one day to maybe see some, I don't know, some where the organization is. I mean, where you're going to do this project. I want to see some of the best views the city has, something like this. Is there any possibility that you have these conditions? I mean, it's not only table tennis, food, sleep. Do you have more activities that is more about this?
Absolutely. In fact, for us, the experience is basically two main elements. One element is the tournament, which we think would be very, very fun. And the second element is the social element, which includes, we're going to have the best restaurants in the city. On some nights, we're going to have private chefs. But also, we've deliberately spaced out some time in the schedule to ask our 25 what they want to do. Now,
Okay.
I'm not sure, Hemming, if we can reveal who the legends are. I don't think we can. But we know one of them love golf. So, as an example, if someone wants to come and play golf and enough people want to play golf, maybe we send one group to golf and we send one group to the beach or something. So we definitely want to incorporate a lot of social and enjoyment factors in the experience as well, as part of the luxury of it.
It's good, I think, to have this there's flexibility for the people who go, because it's also a good experience for them, or not only being focused of table tennis, and also have this as an opportunity to do a lot of things in a short amount of time because how many days? How this? how many days does Among Us? Oh yeah, Among Us. The Among Us is a it's a game. Among Us is a game, please. Among Us is a game, please. Among Legends. What is the duration of Among Legends?
Hemming?
Yeah, so Among Legends is gonna
The length. Yeah. How many days is Among Legends?
Among Legends is going to be for 5 nights, and yeah, people will obviously, especially if they haven't been in Melbourne, they're more than welcome to stay on longer if they want to. But as far as Among Legends goes, 5 nights.
It's cool because they have enough time, to create all the full experience that they will have in Among Legends. Let's speak about one of the points. I think it's more interesting. Who are the legends? I don't know if you can reveal or not. I'm not sure how many things you can say, but I think for the people who are listening this, they will probably be happy if they know any. I don't know any. Let's say I don't know how to say in English. Like maybe some nationality or yeah, like nationality or age. I don't know, like some parts of this person that maybe people can start like say, "Ooh, I think it's this guy," or no. It's like in the transfer market, of any sport. There is one player who will go to play French league, and it's more than 30 years old. People start to speak about this, and I think I don't know. It's just a game. I'm not the. I'm not the guy who organized this. So you guys have the full time you want and as you want and as you can say about who are the legends of Among Legends.
Hemming, we're not. I don't think we're allowed to say who they are. But
Okay.
any clues? Any hints? I said one of them plays golf.
One of them plays
that's
golf.
one
Okay.
hint.
Let's
that's one
say-
hint.
Let's say within the Legends, there are some Olympic medals. Is all I'll say.
Okay.
Within the Legends, I won't say which one. I won't say what medals, but I will just say there are some medals within the Legends at the Olympic Games.
That's a good point. That's a good maybe part to attract some attractive to the people who are interested to this project. One or more have Olympic medals. This is crazy. I don't know a lot of people that have Olympic medals. If we take out the Chinese players, but maybe can be Chinese. We are not saying that there is no Chinese. I'm not saying that, but it's quite interesting. At this point, I'm really excited. To when the reveal is going to be to know who they are. This is good.
I can also probably say the legends. There are a few different generations. So if you have fans who are coming, who perhaps watch the WTT stuff now versus fans who watched table tennis a long time ago, we have a good mix of generations. We can probably say that. And also another clue I can probably say is we have a few different continents. So
Okay.
yes, people from a few different parts of the world who are part of these. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I have
Okay.
one more small.
Okay, it's not bad.
I have one more small but big one. Is if you're
Okay.
late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70 years old, even 80 years old, maybe even 90,
That's a big range.
It is a big range, but if you're in that age, you're definitely gonna know one or more of them, let's say, and you're gonna have massive respect for that one.
For that one.
Okay.
For that,
Okay.
for that one at least. For at least one.
At least, so there is a minimum one of them who is like a top name in this sport. Let's say, like superhuman in table tennis. I will say. Because it was as I'm thinking, It was not a bad player. I think it was good. So let's speak about the cost because there is also some questions about the cost. As I'm speaking, we were still posting some pictures. We were speaking about it. Just for the people who is interested of the project, they are going to continue watching how is the project. I'm watching now the pictures, and it's good how you can take, for example, with the legends, some bottle of champagne for saying something, take a cup or take something to drink to eat, and you are there also in the playing court. So that is quite good. It looks quite good to the people who are interested to go. Let's speak about the price. What is the price? How much does Among the Legends cost?
Are we allowed to say that publicly yet, Hemming?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, this sounds awfully secretive for a podcast. So we have to say something. We have to give something. It's, I would say, for table tennis, it's very expensive.
We can do Louis if you want. I don't know. This is an idea I'm having right now. We can do like a budget between one range of prices. Let's say this is as when somebody asks you how much money do you have in the bank. You can maybe not say the exactly point, but you can say, okay, I have between €1 and 1 million. But okay, let's try to fix it in a little bit range smaller. So I think it's a good question, and maybe the people who is interested, they can maybe have a small idea or
Okay.
better idea of this. So you can think about it.
A small range. Okay, this is fun. This is fun. Maybe let's say it is, but this is. I mean, it's a big range. It's less,
Okay.
It's less than $100,000. Is that
Okay.
is that unfair? Is that too much? Is that
Okay.
crazy?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, do you maybe have an idea of the price range we can make it?
So it's less than
Maybe
100K.
you control more.
It is less than 100,000. That's true. It is less than
Okay.
100,000.
Ooh, but how much is it
Okay.
more then? It'll be more. Let's say it'll be more than. It'll be more than 20,000.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's it's I mean it's a big difference, but we have make a little approach. I mean, we are now more closer. I don't want to push you more. I don't want that you make more details, because for sure you need to reveal step by step, and it's not good to reveal all in one part. So we will let here the range, the money range between 20K and 100K. So here it is.
I would
I
like
think it's
to
good, no?
explain. I would like to
Yeah.
explain that though, Rafa, because I feel being secretive is definitely not our intention. We want to tell everybody everything. Okay, that's what we want to do. In terms of the legends, contractually, we're not allowed to share their names yet. Okay, so that's
Okay.
we're simply honoring our agreement with them. In terms of the price, there's no contract, so we can actually. We can tell you now if we wanted to. The reason why we're not sharing it publicly, though, is we are sharing it with anyone who's getting invitations,
Okay.
and we are sharing it with anyone that we're talking to privately. We're not sharing it publicly just because we feel that people may misunderstand the value that's attached to it if they only see a price tag. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we said, it is it's a luxury experience that's quite high end, and it might shock a few people, you know. And we just don't want to go around giving everyone heart attacks and yeah. Just feel
I
that's-
think it's good. It's good that you are. I mean, that you reveal some info, but also you need to get this little secret, because this is, I mean, I'm not a professional of marketing, but you create the hype, you know. It's like you create that the people want to know it, and you create the interest of the people. But okay, I understand your point that you don't want to create full 100% the interest of the people just because of the money. You want to create an experience, and you want to share with the people some of the things you can say to bring them to create this feeling with the public. But also you need to not take all the information out, because it's also your marketing strategy. I mean, it's not your total strategy, but you understand me what I mean. So you mean you said something about the invitation. This is a good point, because we spoke about money, we spoke about who can be the legends, how is going to be the experience, but a lot of people is thinking about how can I go there? Is this I mean, it's full open. I can just take the phone of Hemingway or Louis and take a call and, hey man, I am 50 years old. I have the money. Yeah, can I go? I mean, maybe you can go or maybe not. So explain how it's going to be the invitation system.
Okay, I'll start with the first half. Hemming, you can do the second half, right? Because we have
Yeah.
two ways. There's two ways
Cool.
that you can
That's
come.
cool.
So the first way is via, like we said, invitation only. The reason is because we can only do 25. That's literally the maximum we can handle for this experience. Any more than that, we feel like we made the experience just may not be as good, you know. So, and since it's 25, we don't really want everybody trying to fight for those spots or whatever, but also we want to ensure that it's a good group of people, because remember, we want to bring money into table tennis, but we also want to bring good people into table tennis, because I think if 25 people, good people, are in the same room together because of table tennis, I think a lot of good things can happen for the sport. You know, a lot of collaborations, a lot of new things, ideas that can benefit everybody. So I think first way is through invitation only. Hemming and I do not personally know all the people that this will be suitable for globally, and that's why we have a lot of our trusted network around the world. Coaches, media personalities, ex-players, some current players, who are these people that we're entrusting these invitations to. So people may receive an invitation from Hemming directly, or people may receive an invitation from someone else that's within our trusted network. Okay. But also, we encourage you reach out to people in our trusted network too. So if you know a coach, or if you know a professional player, maybe ask them. They could be one of our trusted network. And I think I can say this because Rafa, yourself with Ping Podcast, you know, you are definitely one of our trusted network. We've had this conversation before. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, I can afford something between, what was it, 20,000 to 100,000?
20 to 100K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that sounds like my thing, I think the easiest way, maybe you could send a DM to Rafa, and I don't know how many invitations he's got left. I'm not too sure. Okay, he's doing his thing. We haven't really talked about it, but if he's got some spots left, maybe he's your way in, you know. So that's one way through invitations of our trusted network, as well as the legends as well. However, if you don't know anyone who, I mean, you should, because if you're listening to this podcast, you would know Rafa. Okay. But if you're someone else not listening to this podcast, or, you know, you're not sure about who these trusted network are, there is another way. And maybe Hemming can talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so if you don't know a trusted network of ours that's in the table tennis world, you don't know how to get in because you don't know anyone, what you can do is put yourself down in the expressions of interest. Now, this doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a spot, doesn't guarantee, it's like, it's not a lottery, but look, if, you know, things do happen, people cancel their plans, emergencies come up. And if it does, we're going to know exactly where to look. We're going to look at this list and have, these people going to be like, okay, whoever's first up on that list, whoever's second, third, fourth, we're going to look at that list and know exactly who has put themselves down as interested for this event. So definitely do that because it's just going to increase. It's going to increase the chances that you'll get a spot.
I feel that it is a two-way system of invitation. They are both valid. They are both. I feel good because you can contact with our network, let's say Pin Podcast or you two guys, or directly with the other way. I prefer the first one because I think it will be more easier for all the guys who are interested. But anyway, there are two ways, so it's.
What I'll say as well, sorry, Rafa. What I'll say as well about the second way is, we want to do Among Legends as a second time, as a third time, as a fourth time as well, and coming into the second time, the third time, we're gonna look at that list and say, okay, well these guys missed out last time. Maybe this time they'll be able to get in if spots are looking okay. Again, no promises, but it's just like it's not only for this time but for future times as well. Putting yourself down in the expressions of interest will just help you for your chances in that one.
Yeah, because what the last part of this episode was about what you hope to. I mean, if we speak about Among Legends, what do you expect? What do you hope about this project in a future, like in short future or medium future? What are your view about the project?
I might get you to start, Hemming.
Yeah, so she's short term. Short term, we want to really get some more eyeballs that look at this and go, "Whoa! People paid this amount of money to be part of an experience like this. Maybe table tennis is one of the big sports." I would say that's like a short, medium, more. Actually, I would say that's more of a medium, long term. Short term, we'd definitely like a lot of the table tennis community, the national associations, the players, I guess, to benefit from the sport being already seen as like something that's more on the map globally.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I will add to that in a sense that we are filming a documentary as part of Among Legends. And, we want to popularize table tennis by telling the story of the legends, also telling the story of the guests, the enthusiasts. I think that's a great way to expose the wider world about what table tennis is all about, the stories, because not everyone understands the game. And when I first came across table tennis, Rafa, I did not understand the game, but all the content I could see is about the game, people playing, and then the scores, and then the competitions. But if I don't understand enough to be invested in the competition, it's very hard for me to be a fan, right? And I think what we hope to bridge is to allow a casual, interested person like myself somewhere to just slowly ease me into the world of table tennis through the stories. And I think as I get more and more into it, that will funnel more attention to a lot of the competitions that's happening around the world eventually. And also we hope to make Among Legends a gathering for the wider community as well. I know the experience is designed for the 25, well, let's say wealthy enthusiasts for table tennis because it is a luxury experience. However, we do want to create, live audience, potentially meet and greets with the legends for the community, because we know all the cities that we're going to be doing this in the future, there will be a lot of community that want to be involved, they want to watch, they want to be there. And I'm seeing there's a lot of potential to bring energy and excitement to the local communities of table tennis wherever we end up doing Among Legends now and into the future.
I have one last question. Before that, I will say that I am a professional table tennis player, and I don't know at the moment how table tennis works in professional, because so don't worry about that, Louis, because I don't understand how Truls Morgar with this technique can be number 2 3 in the ball. So let's say that even for the pro players it's difficult to understand some things that happen, but I don't know if Hemming has the same mentality as me. But anyway, I feel that sometimes even there is some things in table tennis that they are out of the world, Hemming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Trawls personally, having been with him in the same squad as he was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I can feel it. I can feel watching him how he's so good. And I really start to think about finer details of the game. So yes, but definitely like growing up when I watched Timo Boll was an example of like, I don't understand why he's able to beat the Chinese. Like if you watch him hit a
Yeah.
ball, he doesn't look as good as like, Oh Sang-mun, or he doesn't look as good as like a, I don't know, like a Chen Chi. Like, well, these are more older players, but he didn't look as good as some of those that would step back like Krienga and hit the ball really strong. So I wouldn't understand how Timo Boll beats these guys so easy. But yeah, definitely, I think when people can understand it, you don't have to understand the whole thing, but if they can just understand a little bit more about how hard table tennis is, kind of like how I had for tennis when I understood how hard tennis is, I would watch the best level and I would have much more of an appreciation for the sport and for those players. And then little by little, you start to get really addicted to the sport. And I think strongly believe Among Legends will be that bridge, be that anchor for people, a lot more people to look at it. And instead of thinking, this is not really a sport, they start to think, oh my God, this is hard. How are the professionals doing that? Now I'm obsessed with table tennis, WTT, professional table tennis, these players. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the last question I have for you, I don't know if you're allowed to say this to the people who are listening right now, but are you allowed to say in which country is going to be Among Legends? Yeah.
We are. So
Okay.
Among Legends is going to be in Melbourne, Australia. Now,
Good.
Melbourne it's the home to the Australian Open. It's running a lot of high-end sports like Formula One. Louis fell in love with the form. I guess he became a fan of the Formula One when he watched Drive to Survive, and very very much that's what we hope for Among Legends to be. Also, doing an event like this is not easy. It's definitely doing this. We want to ensure with full confidence, 100%, that the people who do this are going to get really well looked after, premium experiences, and things are not going to go wrong because things always go wrong when you try to pull off something so big like this. So running it in Melbourne, this is me and Louis' hometown. This is just where we can control a lot of the things. Venue, pick up, hotel, all the sorts of stuff like this. So yeah, the first one will be in Melbourne. If we do it again, then we don't know where the next one's going to be. But we certainly do hope to run this in different places of the world in the future.
So I don't know if Louis has something more to say about this, or we conclude the episode. So Louis, you're the last one.
Yes, I think Hemming said most of it about we are in Melbourne, Australia. The only thing I would add is, we've received a lot of support from our state government so far. And I think that's important to have these events partner with as many people, getting as many people involved to really see the successful outcome of it all. So I guess for me, as someone outside of table tennis, I'm just feeling very thankful for all the support that we've received from everybody. So we're excited to make this happen.
So just for the finishing of the episode, I would like to thank you both guys to be here because it has been a very good time we have spent together explaining the project, explaining all things you can say, the things you are not allowed to say. We will know for sure very very soon, but it's been for me a good time we have spent together, and I really appreciate you have contact with me to to promote this episode, the Among Legends project. So just saying thanks to you, and I don't know if you want to say anything more before we finish.
I think if you're interested in Among Legends, talk to Rafa. That's my advice.
Me?
Yes, talk to Rafa. He might be able to get you in.
Okay, that's a good point. I mean, I am. It looks like I'm the typical manager of the footballers, like typical contact between footballers and the teams. And yeah, speak with me, and I will bring you there. Don't worry, I will do everything for you. Okay, it can be. But anyway, I'm very interested in the project, and for sure, anybody who's interested can contact me, or if not, you can contact with Henning, for example, of Among Legends social media to have more information of if you are interested. Maybe it's a good point to be there, because it's, remember, invitation. It's not 100% you can go there. You need to pass some filters, let's say. So, but I think it's there are a lot of possibility. Let's say that if you are interested in table tennis and have this, let's say, VIP or super VIP experience, you can go and maybe make your dream true. Guys, I will finish this episode half Spanish, half English, as I started. Muchas gracias a todos por vernos, a los que hayáis llegado hasta aquí. Suscribiros si no lo estáis, darle like y seguir comentando en vídeos si estáis interesados en este tipo de proyectos, en este tipo de cosas que van añadiéndose al canal. And okay, so what I said in Spanish is that subscribe, please, if you want to be more involved in this kind of projects that we have today. Give like if you like this podcast with these two great guys, and also share with your friends, or maybe we can share with anyone. I don't want to to have any filters. Share with anyone. We want that this episode has a lot of views, because I think we are in a very interesting position with Among Us. So, guys, just thank you again, and I hope Among Legends it's will be a crazy project that maybe finish with a very good ending. And I'm really I have really in my mind that it's going to be a great project, and you will be very successful. So, Louis, Henning, see you as soon as we can, and maybe I would like to know one day if we can meet in person. For sure, we will try. But anyway, thanks to be here, and wish you the best for the future.
Yes,
Thank you for having
us. Thank you for having us, Rafa. Muchas gracias,
Gracias.
chicos. Todos.
So, muy bien. Muy bien, Henning, very good. I think Henning is improving faster than Louis. I think
I think
Henning,
so.
but I think it's because he has this personal love with Rafa Nadal. So I think
Yes.
it's more because of this. Yeah. So, guys, thanks for the episode, and let's continue Monday on Thursday with the Ping podcast. Bye bye.